this is a review of our 2020 Jeep Gladiator Sport S edition. We have had it since like September 12th of last year. Yep. And yeah, so far we just wanted to kind of go through what we've done with it, a review of it, and all of that good stuff. Today we're at Walker Valley in Washington State, and we're gonna take it around, do some off-roading with it. But first I wanted to talk about everything that we have done to the vehicle. So Derek, do you want to start off with what we have done with the headlights and all of that business?
So we got the halogen bulbs with the taillights and the headlights and the fog lights, and we changed out the headlights for LED bulbs and kept the halogen housings. Out of the factory, the halogen headlights were kind of dim. They weren't bad, but they just weren't very bright. So we changed those out and made a big difference. You don't really need to change out the housing, just the bulb makes a world of difference. And you can just buy those anywhere on like Amazon, eBay, any sort of LED bulb. It's a standard bulb size.
The Rubicons come with better package.
Yeah, the Rubicon LED lights are better than the lights we have now, but these, I mean, I think they only cost like 60 bucks for both bulbs, so it's worth just changing out the bulbs and not the whole. I think the assembly's like 400 bucks a piece. And
something I like about the Sport and Sport S models for the headlights in comparison to the Gladiators or just the Sport S's that have a higher light package on it, is that on the R models, it has cute little Jeep grills in the headlights. It's one of their little Easter eggs, and for some reason in the more expensive light package, they just don't have that. And I personally find it really cool to find all the little Easter eggs around, and so we spent less money and we get extra cute little things. So I like that.
Also, when you pick up your Jeep at the dealer, it has a like 13 or 14 inch antenna. I have a 98 Wrangler. It literally is the exact same antenna 20 years later. It's like the one you could like put a marshmallow on and hold over a fire.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's kind of like cool, like in the sense, but every time you go through a car wash, you either got to take it off or you're just gonna flap everywhere. When you're going down the freeway, it's like bent a little bit backwards, like and whatnot. So a lot of people change, even on the Wranglers, or this is the same to the Wranglers or the Gladiators, change those out, give yourself a little stubby antenna. It doesn't, I don't think the long one gets any better reception. It's just like, maybe it's like a thing they just do because
just to keep the classic Jeep look.
But it's kind of a pain because every time I go to a car wash, I have to like jump out with the little screwdriver, loosen the antenna, take it off, put it back on.
Yep, this is easier. And going through car washes in this thing, it is a hard top. There's no water leakage issues or anything like that. I know some of the older Jeeps,
I mean, it's pouring right now.
It's pouring rain right now, as you might hear, and it does a perfect job through a car wash. I can't attest to the soft top versions of this, but it is a newer vehicle. That's probably fine, but I know with soft tops, people normally kind of stay away from regular car washes.
So one of the first things that we did is we got the Sport S with the silver wheels and the 31-inch truck tires, all-terrain tires, and we changed them out for a set of Rubicon takeoffs. They were the 33-inch
mud terrain
Falcon mud terrain on the Rubicon wheels. We picked those up for $1,000 from somebody. Just unbolted, took off the lug nuts, put these new wheels on. The TPMS sensors just automatically hook up. You don't have to do anything, and that was great. Lifted the truck up, well, an inch. And then
it just looks so much better.
It looks better, it drives better, like off-road.
For off-road, yeah.
Hands down the best thing.
I think that's our best upgrade. It's the most expensive upgrade, but the best.
So, and then for other upgrades and accessories, we got these rough country neoprene seat covers because we got the fabric seats. These were great.
They're super nice. Everyone who comes in this car that doesn't know that we did these are like, dang, these are really nice seats. And then we tell them that they were seat covers, and I think they were like, what, $250?
Like 160 bucks.
Oh, that's it?
160 bucks.
They're amazing.
They take a little bit of time to put on. They're just seat covers, but I mean, they probably took me an hour and a half to put on.
You have to disassemble the seats a bit in the back.
A lot of tucking and stuff, because they do look, it's hard to tell that they're seat covers. You kind of have to like...
The regular black fabric seats are completely fine. We're just a little bit extra, and we were concerned about staining the seats or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a Jeep and you got mud and stuff or whatever, these are water resistant. I mean, anytime we've had water on them, it just beads off and runs off. I mean, they do protect
Easy
the
to get
seats.
dog hair off if you have a dog.
And then the all-weather floor mats, whether you get them from the dealer or ours are like from Amazon, they look like the ones from the dealer, but they conveniently don't say Jeep on them, so I'm assuming they're
probably not
some sort of knockoff, but I mean, I couldn't tell. Everything else is exactly the same. Look like it came out of the same molds.
Got to get that all-weather floor mat for sure. In a Jeep, if you're using it for Jeep things, I mean, you don't want the fabric.
And then our Jeep has the 7.4-inch touchscreen, so not the big one, but the middle of the road one, which has been fine. We did upgrade some speakers. The speakers up front on top of the dash, we changed out for some Kicker brand, and then 2 of the speakers in the sound bar. The other speakers, the stock speakers, sounded really good, but when you turn the volume up all the way, it was like
wasn't that
limited.
Loud.
It wasn't very loud. If you had the doors off, it was like you could, the radio, I mean, it was there, but it wasn't very loud. I think they just had the stock speakers limited, so they didn't ever sound bad, they just were quiet. So that fixed that. I mean, that was like they're like $40 a speaker, so like $160 for all new speakers and almost all new speakers. I mean, it made a difference. No amps or anything, just remove and replace. That was a pretty quick thing. I mean, it's like 2 screws for each speaker, and then unplug the wire, plug in the new one.
Yep. And then we got it bed lined right out the factory because we load dirt bikes, and my new ATV back there.
We have bed line. It's not from the factory, but we had the dealer do a Line-X in the bed. So the factory didn't do it, but it was done on day 1 per se. So, and that, yeah, great, definitely worth the money, especially if you're gonna put anything back there. Tonneau cover.
We got that used.
We got that used from somebody who had a Jeep, bought the tonneau cover, decided to switch over to a canopy, and sold me that for $100.
And the canopies are neat.
The canopies, yeah, the tonneau cover's worth it, especially if you're not going to be using the bed all the time, because then it keeps junk out of there, like leaves, pine cones, other people's trash.
Yeah.
And you can put boots back there and not worry about them being stolen or wet around here. But overall review stuff, I mean, the fuel economy,
it's not the best, it's not the worst.
It depends on where you're coming from. Like my 98 Jeep Wrangler gets like 14 miles a gallon, maybe 16 if I'm like going downhill with a headwind behind a semi. But like this, pretty good on the freeway. You're getting like 22. Yeah. In there, you might get a little more, maybe a little less.
We do city a lot.
In city driving, it's pretty bad. It gets like, it'll run about 15.5, 16. The start stop helps, I think. Yeah. I don't mind it. Some people tell you they don't like it. Usually the people who don't have it are the people who tell you they don't like it. Like,
and that's because they're haters.
They've never experienced it, so they don't really. And I think some of the older vehicles had it, and it wasn't quite ready yet. Yeah. But this one, we wouldn't even know it's there. You can turn it off. We do have a taser module plugged in that we basically don't use because it has some features that you can use, like reset your tire size for your speedometer calibration, and then, or you can do like an emergency light thing, which is kind of cool, like if you're on the side of the road or something. That's fun, we like that. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's definitely a cool thing to buy and have, but I would only buy it if you need the features. Don't just buy it because you think it's cool. And there's 2 different models, right? There's a cheaper one and then a more expensive one. There's the light version and the more expensive version, and we have the light version because you can always decide you want the more expensive version, and you just pay a fee, and they just send you a code to unlock it. So I think if you not sure, just buy the cheaper version, and if you want the other features, then you can just pay a little extra. It's not much different than just buying it in the first place. But comfort wise, everyone who's ridden this said they liked it. I haven't had anyone specifically ride in a new JL Wrangler and then riding this. Yeah. But people have ridden the older Wranglers and gotten this, said it's a lot more comfortable. Pretty roomy. We've had 3 full-size adults in the back and then 2 full-size adults in the front. No complaints. One complaint though I will say is if you're a taller person going in the back, you may hit your head on this back here. Anytime you're getting in this car, if you're a taller person, it's a possibility. There's just, you open the door and the first thing you're exposed to is this big roll bar. So if you don't pay attention and you hit your head, there's no give. It's just like, yeah, it can hurt too. So you got to be careful. I'm short. I don't have that problem. But Derek has hit his head. Derek's dad has hit his head. You have to be careful. I had my head getting in just now. Yeah, he did. So that's something that maybe taller people could complain about for sure. And then if you are a taller person, your head
I don't know if you can see with Derek, but it could be a little closer to the ceiling than maybe you like. Once again, I don't have that problem. I think Derek's looks fine, and he feels fine because he's used to Jeeps. But if you're not used to Jeeps, you might feel like you're a little close to the top.
Little things, there's good amount of plugins for the media stuff. You have the one on the dash and then the one in the console. The dome lights are kind of neat. You've got 4 individual for each person, and they're surprisingly well aimed.
Oh, and there's air vents actually in the back. Yeah. I know some of the older Wranglers, what is it, newer than the 2015s?
2018 and older, the JK series don't have rear air vents for your passengers.
And if you live in a hot state where it's summertime, it's devastating. So, I found it.
Yeah, they put air vents back here. There's also one on the floor actually under the seat pointing across, but if you're back there, you're not like cooking. And this is a smaller cab than a Wrangler anyways, so I don't think people run it out as much, but it's just a little upgrade that went a long way. Is air vents. Everything else is pretty similar.
The inside is super nice. We'll have to show that later on in the video so you can see what the inside looks like. The little middle window you can open back there. I think on the more expensive models, it's electric. Oh, really?
No, they're all manual, and at least
all
the
manual.
Gladiators.
Okay, and the Gladiators then. And then the truck bed is shorter than an average.
The truck bed's 5 feet, I think it's 60 inches, and then you can fit with the tailgate down dirt bikes, motorcycles. I would say
quads.
The Jeep Gladiator, like us going into it, we were looking for a truck, and we picked this not because it's the best in any of the categories, but it has so many categories. Like, it can't pull the most, it can't haul the most, it doesn't get the best fuel economy. I wouldn't say it's the best off-road truck either.
I disagree.
But it does so many things good enough that it makes it a good choice. Like, it goes off-road, it is a Jeep, you can take the top off, it's got a roll bar out of the factory, it can haul your dirt bikes, it can tow your trailer.
Well, ours can tow 7,500 pounds. I thought in our size class, correct me if I'm wrong, that we have the highest towing ability in other trucks in our size class.
Yeah, and then also the Rubicon and stuff has a slightly lower, the Rubicon truck is slightly lower than like the Sport because it's slightly lifted, so it brings your towing capacity down a little bit. But anyways, this truck was it did all the things we wanted well enough. Where like if you buy a F350 or something, it's gonna tow a ton, but it's probably not the best off-road truck.
But it's a beast. Because
it's huge.
Yeah.
So this one's been pretty good. And I mean, there's obviously the gas mileage stuff, and there's other engine options. You can go the diesel, now they have the 4xe for the Wrangler. But yeah,
we love it. I'm super, super happy. Went from a Hyundai Elantra that was very nice, I thought, to this truck as my everyday vehicle, and I am extremely pleased. The backup camera is really good.
Everyone comments that it's so clear.
It's so clear. Our model doesn't have beepers with it. I think more expensive models
We don't have the front-facing camera either.
That would be kind of nice if we had that, but
we're at,
you got to start somewhere.
About 13,000 miles.